Hi everyone, it's Mindy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have some color inspiration to share with you. Now, today's video, I am focusing on tailored expressions, ink pads, and colors, but maybe you have something similar to these colors already in your stash. And I also want to let you know about a sale that is happening right now over at Tailored Expressions. They are celebrating their season of crafting. So, meaning that starting today at 9 a.m. Central Time on November 15th, all inks and watercolors are on sale, 30% off. That lasts for 24 hours. So the sale will end November 16th at 8:59 a.m. Central Time. So if you're looking to stock up or get some new ink colors, now is the time to do that. The set that I'm going to be working today is perfect for creating swatches and also creating a card front. I am using this Petal palette set. It is a stencil set from Tailored Expressions. Also has a die included in it. And what it is on the right-hand side, as you're ink blending, you'll create your swatch. And then on the left-hand side is a floral arrangement. So you can do just one by themselves or you can do both. I'm going to be doing both today because I want to have that swatch available for future projects. Something else that I do not show very often in videos is this mini glass board. So if you're looking for a glass board and you really just can't get into the fact of a big one, Taylor does sell a mini one. And this is a perfect travel size and it's also great to fit on any of your work surfaces. So I have a piece of sugar cube cardstock. This is already pre-cut to 6 by 6. It's big enough to fit my stencil. I'm going to lightly adhere it down to the glass work surface using some repositionable tape. And then I'll place the first layer of the stencil over the top and hold that down with Post-it tape. All of the stencils are marked in the corners with a little registration square to help you with alignment, and then it's numbered in the bottom corner with a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's the color palette that I'm going to be using today. I'll show you a little later on where I got this idea from, but I am using Mulled Wine, Berry Smoothie, Peaches and Cream, and Bubblegum. I show this in my lives quite a bit, but I wanted to show you here in a pre-recorded video. This is how I store my blending brushes. I keep them in this simple storage container. I don't remember the exact name, but I'll have everything linked down below in the video description if you're interested in any of the products that I'm using today. I am starting my first color as a Berry Smoothie, which is one of the newest colors that has been added to the Tailored Expressions ink collection. And I am just adding that all over the entire first layer of the stencil using a blending brush. You also want to make sure you're getting all of those registration squares on the right and left-hand side to make sure that we can line up our next stencil. I did have my cardstock set to be the same size as the stencil, but on the stencil itself is an etched line to give you an A2 size for a card front. So if you just wanted to do the card front, there are etched lines there to help guide you. The next color I'm bringing in is Mulled Wine. I started with creating my ink swatch off on the right-hand side, and then I can come in and add in that color to the rest of the stencil. This color is pretty close to the Berry Smoothie, but you can see there is a slight difference there, and I think it's a beautiful color combination. The next color I have, so this is the third layer of the stencil, I did switch it out. This color is Peaches and Cream, and I think this looks amazing with these colors. So again, I filled in the square for my ink swatch, filled in the rest of the stencil to create the petal and the stems, and then my last color is going to be Bubblegum. This is going to be a nice bright color and a great addition to the rest of our palette. So again, once I have everything filled in, I can remove this layer of the stencil that finishes off the whole project piece there. Now the color inspiration I came from this color playbook, I think they call it. You can purchase these in a bundle or you can pick it up separately. And I used that color inspiration right there at the very top. I just left off Lollipop, so you can kind of pick and choose your colors that you want to use. I'm going to take that long skinny die, line it up over my ink swatch and die cut that out through the die cut machine. And then I'm going to take an A2 size, a rectangle from the A2 size Stacklets and die cut out that panel. So I'll come back to the panel. Right now, I want to show you something else I like to do with these swatches. So you can create a bunch of different swatches to use for future card projects. There's also this stamp set. Shoot, I forgot the name, so I will link that down below in the video description. But it has all of the names of the inks. Now, some of the newer inks are not on that set, you would have to purchase those separately. So I picked out all of the names for those inks. And I know I've had a lot of people asking me about the Misty Light. Now, this is the first time I am using it. It's not meant to replace your Misty. It is really meant to be used with projects that might be hard to get into the Misty, is my understanding of it. But I would recommend checking out the My Sweet Petunia YouTube channel. She gives an amazing detailed explanation of it. I need to go back and watch that. Right now, I just kind of wanted to play with it. I wanted to get a feel for it. And one thing I really like is kind of how compact it is. There is a magnetic board or panel that I have it on that's got the ruler and the guidelines on there. And then we have this eye-shaped type of frame with the door. I love how small that door is. It's great for something like this. And really, you could do this in the Misty. You wouldn't necessarily need the Misty Light for this. But again, I just kind of wanted to share and show this to you. But it is really meant to be used with maybe some scrapbook pages or journaling. You would just put this eye-shaped type of product on top of your project. So that's really, I think, what it's kind of meant for. Now, while I was talking about that, I am stamping down all of the names there onto my swatch. So now each one of those swatches is named with the correct color of ink. Now, I need to apologize. I am using a border for behind my image that's actually, I think, discontinued. I think it's like the Frayed Edges die set. I don't believe it's available anymore, but that is what I'm using today in my project. So maybe you already have that in your stash. And then I did use the A2 Stacklets to trim my flower panel down once more. Before I start adhering my panels together, I did want to add some text on top of my flowers. So I have this Fineline script background stamp. I did stamp it down onto scratch paper in oyster ink first to make sure that I have it lined up properly and it's not upside down. Then I put some repositionable tape on the back of my panel, placed it over the script background, and then closed the door of the Misty or the back of the Misty so it picked up my cardstock. So my cardstock is secured down in the bottom of the Misty. Then I am inking up that background stamp with Sugar Cube ink, which is a white pigment ink. So you're going to see it over the colors that I ink blended, but not really in the background because my background is white. I did stamp it twice because I know that it's going to fade back a little bit. So stamping it twice is going to give it a little bit more vibrancy. I'm going to add splatters to my flowers, so I am using Chocolate Truffle Watercolor. I'm adding it to a small glass palette there so I can see it right next to me instead of on my black work surface. I just got my brush wet with a little bit of water and then very carefully splattering it because I wasn't sure how dark this was going to be in comparison to my background. So I just carefully added some splatters to that. I am in need of some birthday cards, and I found this beautiful sentiment, the happy birthday. I love the script of it on the Mon Amie Stamp Set. It is a red rubber stamp. I'm going to use my Misty to stamp that, so I did need to remove the foam insert. Anytime you have a red rubber stamp that already has a foam backing to it, you want to remove the foam insert in your Misty. So I stamped that in black ink. I die cut it out with the coordinating die, and then I die cut another one out of white cardstock and layered those two together to give that a little stability. I'm going to line the back of my stencil panel with these thin foam strips. It's very, very small and low, or I shouldn't say small. It is a low profile foam tape, and I'm going to attach this onto my background mat. So again, that was Frayed Edges. I don't think it's available anymore, so I apologize for that, but it did have a really fun look to it. Then I added the regular foam strips to the back of that, and I'm adding that to a side folding card base made out of Sugar Cube cardstock. And I'm going to add my happy birthday sentiment down towards these stems to kind of fill in that area. Another storage solution I wanted to share with you is how I store my jars of all my bits and pieces from Tailored Expressions. So again, that is a simple storage case, and I picked out these silver glitter drops. I added them to my glass board buddy. I picked out the sizes that I wanted to use, and right now I'm just kind of placing them down with my pick and stick tool. Once I have them in place, I can just kind of scoop those back into the jar. There's the corner cut out of the glass board buddy, so it just slides in very nicely. And then I can go ahead and attach those using some liquid glue, so it adds a little bit of sparkle to my card. All right, friends, that is my color inspiration for you today. I hope you enjoy this color combination. It was really fun to pick and choose these colors and play with this arrangement. Maybe you have something similar to this in your stash that you can play with, or if you're looking to pick up some new ink colors, like I said, Tailored Expressions has inks and watercolors on sale right now, November 15th through the 16th for 30% off. But that sale does end at 8:59 a.m. on the 16th. All of my supplies are linked down below in the video description and over on my blog. I want to thank you all so very much for watching today. Here is another video I think you might enjoy.